You want to start? You want to like introduce the show?
Oh.
What up? This is the more welcome back. Was it welcome back? No, it's like shit. How do we start this? Welcome to our fucking first episode podcast of More Coins, More Problems with your favorite coin chasers, Gordon Dave. Yeah, edit that in. Yeah,
Edit that in.
All right. Why are we making this podcast? Because you guys ask a lot of questions.
Ton of questions.
You know, a lot of questions equal a lot of more problems, and a lot of problems equal solutions. And we're here to be those solution makers. Anything about Web3, Ethereum, blockchain, crypto, NFTs, we're on it. We're making it. We're talking about it. News, we'll give it to you. Anything on that. Anything you need to know, we'll give it to you. Our resources is Google, Yahoo, Wikipedia, blockchain, and
there's also going to be a lot of Twitter and Discord nonsense too.
Yeah, make sure to do all that.
A lot of crypto activity on Twitter and Discord.
This probably going to be a terrible podcast, I'm not going to lie, because we have no direction. More likely, we're just going to see how it goes, and we'll put it together, and then you let us know. And, you know, actually, probably next time we record an episode, it'll be a lot more cleaner.
If you learn from Arnold Schwarzenegger, you start first and then improve later.
That's right.
You just got to start.
That's right. I have a notebook here. I wrote down a shit ton of notes. Right, can we curse? Wait, it's our fucking... Yeah. We could curse. I just have a bunch of notes here for throughout the episode just to see what we could talk about. You know, as for us, who are we? Me, I kind of just buy crypto and kind of just in the game. For me, this is just for research purposes. It keeps me informed with a lot more going on around the world, so I can have something to talk about rather than just talk about it at the club and talk about it to Courtney. I think we could share our information to the people who are actually interested in all the stuff that's going on. Why are you doing this? Well, who are you?
Hello, Courtney. I've been in crypto my entire life. Bought in, sold out many times. Regretted it dreadfully. Now in forever. Officially starting like a year ago, October, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. When it comes to trustworthy resources, we're your people. When it comes to finding trustworthy resources, we're your people too. Other than that, I'm 22. Court's 23.
22. 23 in 4 or 5 days.
My fault. We keep making us older one day at a time. But yeah, we met each other. Been friends ever since we met each other. Like, I feel like that's a simple explanation. I don't think we need to really talk about it unless people really care. What are our credentials?
College graduates.
Yeah, college graduates. Got a bachelor's degree in film. You know what that means? It means I can talk about anything, and as long as there's a camera on me, I'm a master at what I'm talking about. If it comes to crypto, I'm gonna know it. If I know anything about real estate, I'm gonna throw it at you. It's just like you come and you go. We'll talk about you, bro. What are you certified in?
Certified?
Yeah. Like,
got my degree. Bachelor's of Science, Information Technology at base. I don't know. Aside from that, just various projects. Don't even know what to say. I did a cyber corps. That was cybersecurity nonsense. Worked at UPS. Did a little bit of software development. Working, I don't know, Verisk. Doing IT stuff. Just computers all around. Usually financial shit all around. Like, I don't know. Did real estate licensing course for a bit. Realized it was all about the law of real estate. Nothing to do with, like, actual investing. So I was like, yeah, fuck this. I'm going to just find myself an agent when the time comes to get an agent. So, yeah, I don't know. Just looking at computers and finance all the time, pretty much.
That's really good. You know, when it comes to crypto, you do need some business in there. And as for me, like, I didn't go for school at business at all. I literally just went for a film degree, not even communications. So all I know is everything I taught myself off from the internet and this guy right here. I think one thing we should tell people is, like, you should not be afraid of what the future is going to come with. Because right now, Web3 and, you know, everything that's running on all this new news coming out with, like, Ethereum popping off, Bitcoin, it's always been here. It's always been like a topic at hand, but it's now like getting into the mainstream media, and I think that's where, you know, people are now like now it's like a mass surge of people going into all these cryptocurrencies and stuff like that. The internet was started off as Web 1, which is like back in the 1980s, which was
pretty much websites, like, they were just digital posters. Like,
Yeah.
it would just literally be information on a page. JavaScript is what allows buttons to work. If you...
That's Web 2. We'll get to there.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
But
Buttons are Web 2,
Yeah.
but Web 1 was before buttons. Buttons didn't exist, so literally the only purpose of the internet was just, hey, take this thing that was on a piece of paper, put it up here, and now more people can see it.
Because with
Share
Web 1, we didn't
postings.
really have JavaScript, HTML, all that new stuff, all that stuff that everybody be coding. And like at first, again, it was just like static posters, you know, typical iCarly looking type backgrounds. And Web 2 came out, you know, HTML, everybody started learning the script, and then a lot of people started making money off that way. A lot of people started learning how to use Web 2, you know, became script website builders, you know, IT people like this guy.
The whole Web 1, Web 2, Web 3 thing, it's more of like a buzzword that just came about recently. Like, when Web 2 was a thing, like, people didn't say Web 2. Like, it wasn't even a concept.
That's all like new now because of all the fucking news.
Yeah, exactly. Web 2, I don't know, it's interesting. Web 2 is pretty much just, I don't know, the internet as we know it now.
Yeah,
it
it's
has
like
the
global,
websites.
the global internet.
At first, the internet was just a thing only controlled by governments, and then slowly became a public thing because that was that just made sense. Like, the internet just should be a public good. Like, that just naturally makes sense to people, and that's kind of how it occurred.
That's what Web 3 is including right now, is to make everything more publicly good. Like, now that we have everything's trackable. Like, back in Web 2, you could do stuff, and, you know, people would, like, people can change stuff on, like, on websites, and no one could see.
That's actually a really huge issue. Like that is actually a really big issue.
That's what comes with Web 2. There's a lot of false information that can be tracked on there. With Web 3 now is that we're making it more, everything's traceable, everything has results, and you can see, like, samples of, like, anything that's been done. You know, website's been changed, it tells you who changed it, it brings you back to an IP address.
Web 3 is pretty much just taking everything that happens in Web 2, but instead of one company owning all the servers and owning everything, like, when you use Twitter, your Twitter account, you don't own your Twitter account. You pretty much are renting your Twitter account from Twitter. You say, this is my name, but at any time they could be like, you're banned, this is our stuff, and you won't have access to your stuff. Like, the internet was good, like, boom, pictures on the internet, we could share information easily. That's a really good thing. Like, sharing information, that's just obviously beneficial for the world to operate. Web 2 made it even better by allowing people to communicate with each other and do things now that we have buttons. The buttons just allow so many things.
It made everything interactive.
Exactly. But, like, we don't even need to explain that. Like, they're clicking buttons to go on the apps and shit.
Simple knowledge.
Web 3, it goes, okay, well, now you have, I don't know, public visibility, things to be seen by a lot of people, and you have interactivity, but now you have ownership. Ownership's pretty much like the main part of the whole Web 3 nonsense. Like, Web 2, all the companies own all your data, and it's pretty much up to them, like, what happens to it.
And
like, they'll have terms and conditions. There's governments that, like, have certain regulations on, like, whatever they do, but ultimately the companies are in control. Like, you'll see a bunch of the time, like, they'll be in court. Like, you've seen Zuckerberg in court. There's a ton of memes of Zuckerberg in court. Like, they're just, like they're trying, like, it looks so stupid when the government's trying to, like, understand internet shit. Like, he's really trying to talk to them, and they're, like, not understanding him, but also try to, like, accuse him of doing bad shit at the same time. And it's like, I don't know, it's just really funny to look at.
Well, talk when you're advancing stuff to, like, the modern, like, society, it is like you can get caught up with a lot of new things because, like, there's not rules for everything, so everyone tries to, like, bring you down on stuff.
They also don't even, I don't know, I swear the politicians really don't even be looking into stuff. They're just like, oh, we gotta make rules now, and it's like, oh, should we, you know, we spend like 2-3 months learning about it. It's like, no, you gotta do this. And they assume, I don't know, they assume everything works the same. There's not enough research going on. But there's certain people who are doing some good work. Senator Lummis, Hester Pierce. I don't know. There's, like, individual people in the government that are actually looking into things, experimenting with things, and then making opinions. And it's like,
yeah, like the guy from, is it Honduras or South America?
El Salvador.
El Salvador, yeah. The president of El Salvador is bought Bitcoin and is now making over 200 schools in the country, and
There's a lot of shit
and they're
going
upgrading
on.
their economy a lot. So this, as for the El Salvador like government, like I think that's like the testing government. So like
That
the U.S. is gonna watch over that this year.
the world's gonna be watching El
Yeah,
Salvador.
most likely the world.
They're doing a lot of shit. Like, I could go off on a tangent about El Salvador, but like quick things. Bitcoin City, they're building it right by a volcano. They're using the volcano's like energy essentially. Like you know steam power, they magically turn to electricity.
It's called heat power.
Exactly. I don't even gotta explain it.
Like
Like you just turn natural shit into electricity. That's just how electricity works. They're using volcanoes to mine Bitcoin. Also using Bitcoin bonds to support the city. The city, no taxes, no anything, except for like, I think it's like a 5% sales tax on everything. But that's like the one tax that exists, so you can't really complain about anything. That, whether it'll happen, be complete, be thriving, who knows? It's all an experiment. Like El Salvador, everyone's going to be looking at El Salvador to see like, what's good, what's going on, is it sustainable, is it viable?
Also with the El Salvador, like just as a side note, the president of El Salvador,
He's a funny guy.
Literally looks like how we
He's
dress.
a young guy,
Yeah,
and like he memes.
He doesn't really wear suits. Like he looks completely different.
He
from
put
all
dictator
the
of El
politicians.
Salvador in his Twitter bio, and people are like, "You can't do that!" And it's like he's memeing, but like you're owning a country. I don't think you can meme that hard. But like, I don't know. It's pretty funny.
I mean, when it comes to ruling a country, yeah, you really can't make that many jokes because it's like you have to rule.
You can't just
everybody.
you yourself can't put the
Yeah,
dictator word
yeah.
there. Like other people can call you a dictator. You can be like, whatever. I'm doing what's good for the people, but like you can't put the dictator word there yourself.
Yeah, I mean, like, I haven't read up much on, like, if there's anything going on, anything corrupt about, like, the country, but I hope, like, so far it's looking like a great place, like, for the upcoming future. I want to go visit, like, within the next couple of years to see, like how it's going.
Yeah, definitely. Like it makes sense that let's say Bitcoin has the big spike it has towards the end of the year. They have a shit ton of Bitcoin right now. Like we'll see how that affects the country.
Yeah.
Just once again, just everyone's gonna be watching El Salvador to see what happens when like a bunch of people and president doing all the stuff.
To come back to Web3, I think that's where we really need to come back to, but because we only explained what really Web2 was. But Web3, now, as we said, like companies use it, we can all use it. We all have personal information all out there, and all personal information is, imagine like each individual one of us has a block of information, and we can all like share it with each other, and all of us can see all of our tax records, our like transactions, all that other good stuff. With Web3, it all connects us all together, so you can, there's no hiding. It's kind of, everything's coming out.
It's half and half. Like it's pretty much like, since you own your data, you get to like say who has access to it. Like normally it works the other way around. Like you go to the doctor has your information, you want your information, you need to ask the doctor for whatever reason. With Web3, it's like, it's user first. Like you have your information, you give people permission to your information. So like hypothetically, if you didn't want your tax records and all that stuff out there, like you could just not disclose it. But it depends on what blockchain you're using. But like currently anything you do on Ethereum that's transparent. There's like private memory pools and all that nonsense, but like that's stuff to talk about later. But essentially, like as he's saying, it's correct. Like when you make transactions, move things to and fro, whatever, it's on the blockchain. Like whenever there's a big hack going on, there's groups. Like if you search rekt.news, REKT, it's just reports of all the hacks that are happening around DeFi, which we'll explain later. There's just publications of the hacks breaking down what happened, and they go and look on the blockchain. You can see every transaction if you go to a website like Etherscan, and you can just see, oh, they moved the money here. They interacted with this contract. They converted it to this. It was moved to this address. They just do the whole like forensic analysis and just post it up there for everyone to see how things happen. And that naturally makes the system better. Like the whole transparency thing, it just allows it to advance so much faster than everything else. Because imagine every vulnerability happening everywhere. You get to see how it happened, all the steps of it happening, and how to prevent it in the future. That's just, I don't know, small example of how crazy
I was going off that, especially with like hacking and all that, there's all records of all that, but also companies can use it for advertising as well, and it's also with like stuff like Polkadot, like Polkadot uses like takes a bunch of blockchains and then combines it all into one place, so you can what's that thing called, scalping, where it's like they can break down everything in the blockchain, so like people are selected into certain groups.
Well, that isn't connected to Polkadot. That's just regular company stuff. Like when you sign into a website on Facebook, you agree to the terms and conditions. They go, we're allowed to see this, that. You're using a free thing, but as everyone says, you are the product that the thing is free. They're taking your data, comparing that data to everyone else's data in order to be able to
Polkadot is the connector of all that.
No. It's completely separate because, like, Polkadot's on crypto. Like crypto didn't exist 5 years, or it did exist, but Polkadot itself probably didn't exist 5 years ago.
Polkadot launched in 2019.
Yeah, but that's 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
3 years.
Yeah.
Just giving you the record there. Web3 was also announced in like 2019. Like,
it's also a buzzword. Like we could see when it first came out, but Web3 isn't it's more of a like a trend that we're giving a name so that it's easy to explain to people.
Well, that's the point of this. We're trying to explain to people.
Yeah.
But like, I did look up it's kind of weird how like we never hear about it till like the mass media really, like, unless you're really doing like what you did and like you learned about Web3 ever since like the beginning of time here. Like for me,
I
like read up on it when like it hit the mass media. When Bitcoin was going crazy. When Dogecoin... 2018,
2019. 2018 was one of the... I think it goes 2013, 2018, and then currently right now. I don't think there's been another time. If there was, it's just because I wasn't paying attention to the market until, as I said, a year ago, October. Every 4 years, or 3.5 years roughly, you'll see the market go kind of stupid. And that's kind of the basis of everybody getting on it right now.
What I mean by kind of stupid, it means it goes up.
The pattern I was doing with my hand, like when I say kind of stupid, I mean like
we are also an audio podcast too. We are on Spotify and YouTube, so remember we are talking.
I'll put a Bitcoin halving chart in the notes. You might need a little bit of finance background for this, but pretty much the amount of Bitcoin that goes out over time gets cut in half every 3.5 to 4 years. Because there's less Bitcoin going out into the market for people to use, it's more rare, it's more scarce. So scarcity itself just kind of brings up price. Just I don't know, that's just how humans work. There's one of that thing, I want that thing, he wants that thing. There's one of it, like we're gonna put more money to try to get it because there's only one of the thing. But Bitcoin, it's like there's a bunch of them, but how much goes out every 4 years or so gets less and less over time. So compared to gold, where it's like we can just drill in a certain place we haven't drilled before and just find a shit ton of gold. Like I was just learning a bit about Mansa Musa. Literally that little part of Africa is just sitting on top of a ton of gold. And then there's the Sahara Desert making up like half of the rest of the continent. So they just had a ton of gold just sitting there. And it's like, who knows where else there's like a huge wealth of gold. It's kind of crazy. Point being, finite amount of Bitcoin, we don't know how much gold there is out there. So if you go Bitcoin versus gold, there's only ever going to be 21 million Bitcoin. Gold, there could still be more discovered. Like the numbers are set in stone for Bitcoin, essentially. Back to Web3, which is supposed to be the big boy topic of this.
Yeah, let's call this episode Web3 versus us.
Web3 versus the world.
Yeah, no, us.
Versus the corporations. Web3 versus the corporate. That's pretty much what it is at this point. Like, if you were to take something like Netflix and make it into a Web3 company, like, it would literally be, well, one, okay.
I mean, what Netflix can be considered, like, Netflix, like, is already doing, like,
it's not Web3 until the users own, like, the company. Like, they would need to make a token, essentially.
Yeah, well, that's the one thing that would, like, separate it. But, like, they're working on it. I think, like, they have like VR stuff, which is like they're getting into like the metaverse.
That doesn't make it. Having VR doesn't make it Web3.
No. It like how I'm like they're already on the move to going into the metaverse, so they are closer to getting to Web3.
They're Web3 once they go Web3.
Yeah.
While everything's still owned by Netflix, it's not Web. I highly doubt. Like I don't know. Maybe they're innovative enough that they will, but they will not until like. I don't know, other companies that still have their founders as owners do first. Like, I don't know, companies don't like taking that type of risk.
Yeah, well, I mean that's the thing. Like with this new web Web3, we've been saying Web3 a lot, but the new age internet and stuff is that like people just don't want to like get into it. Like no one wants to take the risk. Like Shaquille O'Neal, like he's he's one of those people is like his main reasoning is like if he doesn't understand it, he's not into it, and I think that's like what a lot of people is just like. No one like it's just a bunch of like nonsense like we're talking to a lot of people, and then like when you don't understand it, like you really don't want to test stuff.
Crypto it's extremely hard for people to get because it's literally taking a bunch of things that people traditionally like kind of leave to other people and they just smush it into one thing. Like finance, a lot of people they don't want to look about money stuff, budgeting, IRAs, 401k, blah blah blah. They don't want to look at any of that. They're like, I'll have a person to do that. Plus computer nonsense, the same thing with computers. It's like, IP, I don't know, 404 or whatever. People don't want to look at that either. Like, people might have a little bit of skills in finance, a little bit of skills in computer, and they're fine with having that limited skill set because they're like, someone else will know more and be able to help me when the time comes. You're taking computer stuff, economics things, finance, and, like, distributed systems, putting them into one thing, and being like, do you know how money works? And like slapping that on top, and it just becomes some, I don't know, creature that people don't even want to start trying to fight.
So a lot of companies aren't taking the risk, but celebrities are really like taking the risk and getting into like the new age. Like Jimmy Kimmel, Lil Baby.
I didn't know about Lil Baby.
Maybe like don't quote me on that. I didn't like do my research, but I remember reading something on Twitter about him getting a bored ape.
Like, that'd be kind of crazy if he did.
Post Malone.
That's clout. I know Post Malone has one for sure. In it.
A lot of new artists, but I think like with that, like with the new, like how media works, like new artists, and like like people who are really big, anything they do, like people follow, like
Essentially, yeah.
So like companies are just gonna be right behind that. I think they're just waiting for like like other people to take the leap so they can see.
That's exactly what's happened. Like. One thing that, like, people don't realize, it's kind of, like, weird. Not weird. It's just difficult for, like, for example, he said earlier that celebrities are buying crypto, but the companies aren't. A big reason why the companies aren't is because, like, as he said earlier, like, there's not a lot of legal framework, like, out there. Like, the companies don't know if they can. Like they could go and buy Bitcoin. Like, they're easily capable of going spend money. Like, anyone can buy crypto, essentially.
Yeah, but, like, having, like...
It's super easy to do. But will they get fucked over by the law? That's what they're wondering about. That's what they're worrying about.
That's what also, like, a lot of people don't, like, understand. Is like, a lot of this is all, like... There's no laws. Like, it's all, like, you can do a lot. I mean, there is laws, but, like, there is not, like... There's so many possibilities of what you can and, like, can't do. I've tried to convince you to do... can we say that? Yeah, we'll talk... We'll cut this out of anything, but I tried to talk them into doing, like, Web3 scams, like, you know what I mean? we scam the internet. And with, like, different coins and all that other stuff. But you know what? As legality reasons, we're not doing that. That's just...
Not just legality, morality.
Morality.
There's a couple things.
There's a lot of things.
So
one, we don't do
I'm not trying to be on Rec News like, so this wallet address associated with Courtney Rhodes in New York. They don't dox the person. Like, they're not evil, but it's like other people can dox you eventually.
Yeah, like there is like
they'll find that like I don't know.
It comes back to everything being traceable.
I don't know. If I'm going through the effort of making a good enough scam, I might as well just be making something useful for the world. Like I'll make more money doing that than, I don't know. It's just too much effort to hide the money and then like wash it and then like somehow take it out in cash, never get doxxed online. It's just too much to try to manage.
I think now that we're on like the topic of crypto and stuff, it's like when you put in the money, like people are wondering, like, can you get taxed? And yeah, you can get taxed.
So taxes aren't like people don't realize a lot of things aren't real things. Like.
Alright, but don't say things. Like explain a little bit. Like, what do you mean?
I mean, everything in general is not a real thing. Like when you think of a company, you might think of a building, but a company is literally just rules that we made up. Said these are the rules of a company existing. Like an LLC is one type of company, where it's just different tax rules. An L Corp, a C Corp, whatever, S Corp. They're just all different rules that we make up and go, this is truth, this is a thing. Taxes are the same thing. They go, if you make money doing this and we find proof of it, you will be taxed. So yeah, you can be taxed on crypto. You could be taxed on breathing if the government says you can.
You're right. Like how we have to pay to see. I have to pay the government to get the glasses.
To get the glasses.
Same thing. Like I pay the government to walk comfortably. You know? Like I get it. But with this stuff, it's all traceable. So there's nothing like tax fraud.
Well, see, that's another thing too. That's a really good point. Like hypothetically, I want to go back into like making Netflix a Web3 company. I feel like I should do that right now. But to cap his point there, I don't know. While it's running as a Web3 company, the treasury of the company will be publicly visible, and like where they send the money and such, that'll all be visible. And it's like you can trust the company a lot more when you can physically see everything that's happening. Like of the company.
Many people think it's like a money laundering scheme. Like when you can't.
It's crazy. Stuff, you know? Like everyone's just assume like that part really just kind of pees me off because it's like you can't tell people what to do with the thing you're making. Like people go, oh, this is crazy powerful and like can do a lot of things. It's going to be used for evil. It's all evil. And it's like, you can't just do that. Like, that doesn't make sense. You could say, oh, this is a baseball bat. I'm going to use the baseball bat, go to the major leagues. Or I could, bandage some spikes to it and start killing some animals. Like, you can't go, bats are evil. All bats are evil. They're killing seals with... That's not how things work.
We're killing seals.
Like, that's not how it works. Like, people use... All because something has high capabilities doesn't mean it's inherently evil. That logic doesn't make sense.
Yeah, you're just going with the point of everything's meant good in moderation, stuff like that.
Kinda. Yeah.
But also
you can't just immediately dismiss something because of its capability.
Like a shovel is meant to dig.
Exactly.
But if you use it wrong, you can definitely hurt somebody.
You can definitely kill someone with a shovel.
Yeah, the same thing with Web3. It's good for everybody. It's meant for good.
Like it's set up as a good starting point that's better than the starting point we have now. The current starting point the companies have now enable them to abuse us essentially, and they have bargaining power over the government. Because if you threaten the companies, they'll just say, I'll move offshores. I'll go to a different set of made up government rules, and I'll just operate over there. And that's literally just how it works out.
You never went into going back into the Netflix, making it a Web3.
Oh, well, I got for example, if Netflix says something like, oh, we made 700 in sales or whatever, you don't really have that live data readily available. You would see how many sales are on different apps. Maybe Google says, oh, they had 26,000 downloads, but you only really see what they tell you. Web3, you can see all the numbers in real time constantly. For example, one of the biggest NFT games, Axie Infinity, you could see how much revenue they make every month just on the blockchain. They don't need a cap. They can just be look at the charts and you just see how much money it's making. I don't know. You can trust it a lot more when you can legit just see it for yourself and know that it's verifiable.
There's results all over the place. As it gets back to the point of everything's traceable.
Yeah, I can loop back to how to explain blockchain with this current string of words going on. I feel like some people might be going, oh, well, can't they just change the information? And it's
that's traceable by itself. You could see they changed it.
Yeah, but that's because of how blockchain works. You can see that they change it, but because of what I'm going to explain now. So pretty much, I don't know. When you have transactions and stuff, obviously you need, who sent it, who did what, what's the amount, all of that. You need all of that data available so that people can't spend the same money twice. I don't know. I think it makes enough sense. Being able to spend the same money twice kind of kills the money. I don't think I need to go more into that. Counterfeit bills is a good enough example.
Sense. I understand counterfeit bills. I bought mangoes from a lady on the side of the street, and she gave me a fake $5 bill. Now, did I go back and see another mango lady and give her the fake $5 bill? Would it crumbled in my hand so she didn't see anything? Yes. But you see, that's not traceable.
See, that's another thing, too. People are like, oh, crime, crypto. It's
the crypto crimes.
How many of you buy drugs with cash? It's like realistically, like at least if it's in crypto, there's some type of trace. But like I could right now be like, no one saw that. Y'all saw that, but we can delete the footage right now. No one knows what happened. Like, I don't know. Just because it's capable of like hiding things is like, I don't know, man. That doesn't mean that that's all it's used for. The dollar bill, like I'm pretty sure everybody learns when they're like 10 years old. Oh, there's 0.003% cocaine on every US dollar bill. I swear that's like a fun fact that everybody knows, just like the mitochondria shit. Like everybody knows that money is drug money. Like that's I don't know. That's how like you, as I said earlier, you can't judge the thing by how people use it. Like
I don't think. Do you really think people are gonna start buying drugs like off with crypto and all that?
They have like,
well, like
people buy everything with everything.
You can do it on the black market, and like it has been done. But like, do you think it's gonna be more like a modernized thing?
Yeah, because
but like not like drugs that are legalized, like all this.
Both.
You think more like
more when you have a better money system? Why would like cash? Like I guess
cash is king.
It's funny, like if I legitimate, like let's say we're in Web3 world, blah blah blah. Most things are now crypto, whatever. I would probably go use cash to do my legal nonsense because it's like that's untraceable unless they got cameras outside and we're legit like CCP China or something.
CCTV.
We can't have this on YouTube anymore.
What do you mean we can't? Fuck this. Fuck sponsorships. Fuck the what the fuck monetization. This is not meant.
Bro.
Like,
fuck sponsorships. Y'all are sponsors.
Yeah, like we'll sponsor ourselves. All right. You think we should wrap it up like for our first episode, or say a couple things? Web3, don't be scared of it. Learn it.
Definitely, 100%.
Anything the mass media follows, trust it, but also do your research on your own.
I wouldn't say trust it. I'm like, figure out your opinion. Like that.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Not to get political or anything, but yeah, get
Nah, we're getting political. Figure out your fucking opinion. Like, don't just automatically read something and be like, oh, this is my opinion now. Like, actually look
into this stuff because it could be beneficial for you. Like, should we talk about our favorite currencies real quick? Yeah, my favorite currency right now is BAT. Basic attention token. Favorite currency, I think it's going to go to the moon. Better than, I personally think it's going to do a lot better than Bitcoin eventually. Like, not, that's just me, like, gassing it up, but but in reality, it's going to go places. You can use Brave.
You could say confidently, like, its price performance, percentage-wise, is probably going to be better than Bitcoin year to year.
Yeah.
Like the price, like the end price will probably not end up higher. The market cap probably won't. But like year to year performance, like if you're putting in money now, like you could probably expect to make like a couple hundred or even possibly 1,000% on that if you're putting in now / consistently, whatever. You probably aren't going to get 1,000% on Bitcoin like
for a while. Like this is
exactly like it'll grow at a faster rate, but like. Just different metrics to compare.
Everything's good. Everything's up. Nothing most cryptos like go up year after year.
That's essentially
There's like have you seen anything that's gone down over time?
Well, no. Everything essentially follows Bitcoin, and then when Bitcoin eventually goes down and a bunch of money is out, like a few things die. But those things that die are usually things that were only in it for the money anyway, which is why I like moving people towards like the actual projects doing things and not the scams, because like. Once the money dries up, the scams disappear. They're leaving with their money. The real projects that are actually out there trying to do things to change society that have money in the system that isn't going to move because it's doing something useful, that's what's going to like continue to keep going on and bring us into the future.
Yeah. What do you think like people should put their money should start off with? Like a good start off coin.
It's going to be hella complicated if you try to learn how it works. So, like, that's a disclaimer. There's a crypto called Ohm.
Ohm. Oh, yeah, you did tell me about
Olympus DAO, Ohm. Pretty much the whole point of it is like, hey, we need safe, reliable, stable money in crypto world to use as, like, quote-unquote, the dollar. There's a bunch of dollar experiments in crypto, but they all have different flaws for whatever reason. This one pretty much tackles that problem, and we'll talk about those problems in some other episode. It tries to tackle that problem by going, okay, so we're backed by X amount of dollars, and that X amount of dollars is pretty much just how much money the treasury has. So like they'll say, for example, 1 ohm is backed by $22 or so. So no matter how low the price goes, you will have $22 per ohm. So that is how it ends up being stable and worth $1, even if it isn't like $1 in price. It's because you could redeem it for the underlying... Well, you can't redeem it right now. There's no mechanism to do it. But there's enough treasury value backing each that, like, we still got to go into, like, a ton of stuff in future episodes.
We have a lot. That's what this
voting,
podcast is. We
governance,
can talk about all the stuff. Like, we're here to teach.
But, like, how the crypto protocols work, you could vote things into existence. Like,
yeah, we run everything, basically.
We run, like, that's literally how Web3 works. The community, the people who own the tokens, which means you own the company, essentially, you all make the rules of the company together in real time. So it's literally just a better system than Web 2. Like, imagine if, like, by you using Netflix, you are now a co-owner of Netflix. It just aligns everybody's incentives together. Like, essentially right now, our purpose is to consume. Their purpose is to make money off of us, essentially. Web 3 kind of goes, okay, we're now the owners and the users. So now everybody's trying to work together to, like, provide more value for us, whether it be through, like, actual usefulness of whatever the thing is, or through making more money. Like, that's actually, that's a pretty big thing. We probably should have, I don't know. We did it. It's in the episode now.
It's in the episode.
Y'all know
like,
it. If you didn't understand it, I'll probably try to explain it like 6 different other types of ways in the future and give you more examples.
Yeah. This is just the beginning. You know, this episode could have went, like, probably all over the place, like, for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But, you know, at the end of the day, I hope, like, you got something out of this.
Ohm, 8,000% APY, probably not right, or maybe right now. That's another thing too.
At the time of this recording, we don't know.
Yeah, but like it's 8,000. Like the lowest it'll be right now is probably 5,000. You could be like Courtney, 8,000% APY. That sounds like a scam.
What does APY stand for? So
APY.
This is all. Remember, we're teaching.
Yeah. Annual percentage yield. It's pretty much.
That's right.
Annual percentage yield. How much percent you're yielding annually? How much you're making in a year, essentially. So 8,000% per year means if you have $1. See, this is where me being bad at math doesn't make sense. I assume that means you end up with $8,000 because 1 times 8,000%. Like what's 100% of 1 is 1, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't know how you scale up the percentages.
No, 100% of 1. If you do 100 times 1, it's 100.
But like, is that 100%? I think 100% is like, I don't even know. 100 out of 100.
I'm not. Listen, man. I failed math once. Like. But yeah, I think we got a pretty good episode coming out. Fuck. You want any last thoughts? Like you want to say?
Going back to my Arnold Schwarzenegger quote. We're starting now. It'll only get better.
Yeah, that's right.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. You know, thank you for listening to our podcast this week. We're gonna try to make these at least once a week. Once a week we're releasing.
Yeah.
Once a week we're releasing them. More coins, more problems. Your favorite coin chasers, Court Dave. I fucked that up. But you know, make sure to get Brave.
Brave browser. Get yourself some BAT for seeing some ads. It's a built-in ad blocker too, so you could not see ads you don't want to see crypto-related ads, and make money for seeing crypto-related ads that are probably going to make you money. We're not sponsored, but we're using
we're not
Brave.
Sponsored. Disclaimer, we're not sponsored. We're just we're good advocates for it.
You're making money for seeing. Why wouldn't you be an advocate?
Get money for using the internet. Like, come on now. Make sure we're on Spotify and YouTube, and your TikToks.
More platforms.
We're on everything.
Essentially.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
I get money and I spend it.